What up, Don Mafia? Welcome to yet another edition of the Don Mafia Report. Yeah, guys, you read that title right. I am very pissed off at the Buffalo Bills. Now, let me preface this, because I understand that we ended up going 10-6, had an overall successful regular season, defied a lot of those talking heads' opinions who said that we would go 5-11 or 6-10, and we made the dance. But that monkey on our back, that the Buffalo Bills can never finish or not win the big game. Back in the 90s, it was failing to win a Super Bowl, and right now it is actually winning a playoff game. It's been since 1995, and looks like we need to wait another 6 or 7 months before we even have another opportunity to do it again. Now, Don Mafia, say that you've been following me since the beginning of the season. I will admit something. When I make a video, I typically like to script it. I really like to have my points written down. I have a script that I look at. So I try to keep it as scripted as possible so I can give you a very, well-constructed, straight to the point video so you understand my points moving forward. But, guys, Jaboy has to rant. Jaboy has to rant this video, and I do apologize in advance. So, we all know, jokes aside, the Buffalo Bills blew a 16-0 lead. And it pissed me off too, because we started off that game, especially that first half, on fire. Like, that first drive, as soon as when I saw that, I was convinced that the Buffalo Bills were about to advance to the divisional round. I was absolutely convinced. I really was. But unfortunately, while I'm not a pessimistic person at all, I always look at the positives of things here. But something in the back of my head was just like, shit. What if we pull a Dallas Cowboys where we have an electrifying first drive and then shit the bed afterwards? And unfortunately, that ended up being true. Now, it's very difficult to put blame on one single thing, right? We could definitely put it into our offense by lack of execution. We could put it in. We could put blame on our play calling, specifically from Bryan Daboll, or we could even put blame on the referees, who, when they decided to throw a flag, it was only against the Buffalo Bills. I haven't had a chance to look at the box score yet, but I'm pretty sure that the Houston Texans may have been flagged once, minimum, throughout that entire game, right? So, looking back at a couple of different things that I wanted to touch about that really, really pissed me off, right? Number one, Bryan Daboll. This entire season has been a roller coaster of my support for this guy, right? So, 2 or 3 days before we even touched down in Houston, ready to play that wildcard game, news broke that Bryan Daboll was about to be interviewing with the Cleveland Browns for their open position of a head coach, right? So what I was thinking was, all right, so this is going to go one of two ways. He is either going to call a fantastic game just to boost his resume so he can get that head coaching position, or he's going to call plays that a second-year quarterback cannot fulfill. That was the latter. Josh Allen attempted to throw the ball 47 times during that game. And what blows my mind is Devin Singletary was essentially ignored after the third quarter. Zero touches. Devin Singletary, in my opinion, is the best player that we have on offense. He is the best player that we have on offense. He has proven that in the regular season. And the Houston Texans had a very difficult time stopping him. But then, we just completely forget to use him. Completely ignore him. Especially when it came into the fourth quarter, and especially when it came into overtime. Not a single run was given to Devin Singletary in overtime. Bryan Daboll was essentially thinking that the overtime was like a 5-minute period. It was 15 minutes. And while our defense did its job, stopped Houston during their first overtime possession, all we had to do was run the damn ball. Give it to your best player and let Devin Singletary get those chunk plays that you needed to get. Seriously, that's all we needed to do to put the game away, rather than gunslinging around the field, which was completely ludicrous, right? And I mean, I'm not even going to put the blame on Josh Allen here. Sure, he fumbled the ball, and during the offseason, I really hope that he just duct tapes a football to his hands for 3 months straight. But it really came down to that damn play calling. You can't have a second-year quarterback who has proven the more times that he throws the ball, the less likely your team is going to win the game. That's something that they need to do. Josh Allen was even interviewed a couple of weeks ago saying that the offense's identity is we don't have one. That's a problem. That's a problem. Let me tell you what your identity is, Buffalo Bills. Run the damn ball. That's what happens. When the Buffalo Bills run the damn ball, we win the football game. And apparently we just decided to throw that out the damn window. Like I said, that wasn't even necessarily entirely on the offense. Trust me, the officiating against that game was absolutely bonkers. So number one, we can't forget that one touchback touchdown where the guy in the end zone did not make a clear, fair catch call whatsoever. You all know when it's a touchback, you need to kneel it down in the end zone. In fact, it was called in several games in the past where somebody doesn't make a signal that the catch is over, and then special teams runs in, touches the ball, and then gets the touchdown. And at first, the refs did get it right. They gave the Buffalo Bills a touchdown, but then they reversed it because they said that this guy signaled that it was a fair catch. Where? I had no idea. He caught the ball, walked 2 steps, and then he threw it out the way. And then the Buffalo Bills recovered, and holy shit, what do you know? We're up 19-0. That would have completely switched the momentum of the game, and right now we all would have been celebrating while watching this video. I mean, that's just the way it was. That call was absolutely ludicrous. That blindside block on Cody Ford. What the hell? What the hell were the refs talking about? That call right there was the death nail right into our coffin. Right then and there. Guys, the NFL officiating needs to be fixed. Whether or not that we need to start fining them for shitty calls or requiring them to have post-game press conferences so they can answer for their bonehead plays. There needs to be consequences for these guys. So, definitely with the officiating wasn't a big thing too. There were so many missed calls. Jerry Hughes got horse-collared at least 3 times. That was completely ignored. Josh Allen took a torpedo of a helmet to his head. That wasn't called. And the overall calling of this game. Did the refs have money in Vegas on the Texans or something like that? Because, that entire called game was completely favored to the Texans. Now, it's either that or the Houston Texans played perfect football, which, don't think that happened. Don't think that happened, ladies and gentlemen. And then, guys, we missed opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to really put the game away, and we didn't. We settled for field goals, and we just left 6 on the table. We had plenty of those opportunities. I know that there is, so many fans of Duke Williams. I love his story. I do think he's talented. But that shot in the end zone, he should have caught that. He should have caught that 190%. It hit his hands. And that's exactly why we activated him. We activated him to muscle his way in. We activated this guy to muscle his way to touchdowns. Now, there was a picture that I did see that looked like that there could have been a pass interference call called on that because the cornerback had, I think it was his left arm hooked. But, and so the refs haven't called a penalty on the Texans all game, so what do you expect, right? So, right at the end of the day, what do you expect? But, Duke should have definitely caught that ball. Say that touchback touchdown counted. Duke Williams caught the ball. And then John Brown actually came up with that ball that would have been on the 4-yard line, say that his feet were to stay in bounds. Then we all would have been celebrating right now, and I would have been dropping a preview video to the Kansas City Chiefs. And that monkey off of our back of being, that team that can't win the big game would have been over. All we had to do was beat the Texans, and then say that we were to go into Arrowhead Stadium and get our asses absolutely handed to us, I would be 100% fine with it because we have made progression. Now, right at the end of the day, guys, you know that I'm a a glass half full kind of guy. And the Buffalo Bills did exceed expectations this year. I'm not like, they did. I really wish that we came out on top with that wild card weekend. And maybe it was just the fact that I was spoiled because the Buffalo Bills did a fantastic job this season. So maybe I was spoiled and maybe I was expecting too much because we're only a few pieces away from dominating those types of games. But it's looking good for the offseason. We had the most cap space out of all teams that were in the playoffs this year. We have a bunch of like great draft picks. So, I mean, guys, the future is bright, but I still wish that we would have executed, and I still wish that we would have ended up winning one of those playoff games. That's just me. So, guys, I wanted to take the rest of this video and sort of explain what I'm going to be doing during the offseason. It's crazy. Looking back in August, I was a very small YouTuber. I had 300 subscribers, but then I started doing videos on the Buffalo Bills, and now I'm sitting at 4,000 subscribers. You guys are the best fans in the face of the planet. You love your Buffalo Bills content. So I'm not going to be one of those sports YouTubers that completely disappears for 5 or 6 months until the draft or right until free agency. Be on the lookout for a very busy off season. Now, I'm planning on doing a bunch of free agency videos, What I'm going to do is dedicate a video to some really hot prospects that a lot of people are talking about and sort of look at film and discuss how they could potentially fit within the Buffalo Bills in 2020. I'm going to do that until about March 18th once free agency goes off to the gates. Once that is settled down, then I'll probably start doing a bunch of mock drafts and I'll start looking at prospects that could potentially be drafted by the Buffalo Bills and a bunch of other videos mixed in. Get this, your boy even bought himself an Xbox, and I'm thinking about starting some Madden videos too. Maybe some franchise mode for the Buffalo Bills, maybe rebuilding the Buffalo Bills for 2020 to make sure that they win a Super Bowl. I have a bunch of plans during the offseason. So if you're new here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and then besides that, guys, happy offseason. Let's be proud of our team as hard as it is. I know it stings a lot that we blew a 16-0 lead, that we left so many opportunities on the table where the circumstances could have been vastly different. But, guys, one thing that we can all admit right fucking now is that the Buffalo Bills are less than a year away. The 2020 regular season is going to be an exciting one. And I personally can't wait to make videos on that. Love you guys, and let's go Buffalo.